All right, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite Dark Sorcerer here. And tonight I'd like to discuss a little bit further what I've been talking about on the last two videos. In the last two videos, I've talked a lot about gods of death. I've talked a lot about herbs and oleums and stuff like that. So tonight I'd like to give you just a little bit of a taste of some of the things that you could do, and most importantly, you can summon. Okay. Now, when it comes to powders, you've got a lot of good powders out there from the zombie powder. Okay. This is a Haitian voodoo. Okay. Practice. It deals around zombie making. Okay. And I do apologize for my internet connection right now. My internet connection's a little bit on the fritzy side right now. We're getting ready to switch over to a whole new um, carrier. So, anyways, brimstone powder, okay, is another one. You've got dragon's blood powder, okay, red sandal, okay. The how should I say this? You have the black arts powder, okay, and then you have the domination powder, okay. Now the black arts powder is used for hexing, and it's used specifically for someone that you do not like. It's used for somebody that is your worst enemy, okay. Think of it as someone that you really despise, okay. Now, despising this individual, this is the type of powder that you want to use. But you can also use the domination powder as well, because it is used in hexing a don't like. Okay. Now, with these type of hexes, you also want to take into consideration the Loa. Okay. Now, you remember what I said in my last video. My last video, I discussed things of healing, things of protection, things of reversals, and things of cloaking. Okay. Now, when we're talking voodoo type orders like we are right now, okay, dealing with black magic and sorcery within herbalism, okay, Loa Bakulu, okay, is a protector, okay. Bakulu protects against death hexes, okay, whereas, say for an example, I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's Loa Miser Baretti. Okay, it's one of those long names, and it's very hard to pronounce if you're not familiar with the sound, the hormonal tones of the names. But this particular deity protects against all sickness. Okay, and then you have Biza Loa Biza Trios. Okay, this Loa protects from war, injuries, and accidents. Okay. Now you look at what you have on Facebook. You look at what you have in, say, for an example, social media. A lot of these so-called practitioners want to throw around curses just for shits and giggles because you pissed them off. Okay. Now, I know this firsthand because I've got a troll that, well, he's been hounding me for the better part of 6 months until recently when I finally had enough of it and literally fired back. Okay. So, calling on gods and deities really do help, but it comes down to what you're looking for. Okay. In this case, we're dealing with Haitian Voodoo. Okay. Just from what I've told you so far, this is Haitian Voodoo. Okay. Now let's get into demonolatry. Demonolatry, I mean, you have Azrael, okay, the angel of death. You have Alistar, the executioner, okay. Samael, the venom or poison, okay. And then you have Abaddon, the destroyer, okay. These are just some of the beings that you can call upon, okay, through rituals and ceremonies. Okay, depending on how many participants are being employed or positioned within this one ritual, you could always look at it as, how should I say this? Look at it more of a ceremony. Okay, three or more, it's considered a ceremony. But if you're a solitary practitioner, probably let's say two or three people, that's a witch's den. Okay, so you really want to work within what you have at your disposal. If it's just you, do a ritual, okay? A destruction ritual or a lust ritual, compassion ritual, okay? In Satanism, you have these three types, but when you break them down, there's a lot of classifications that really fit into black magic. We all need healing from time to time. You know, you can use, say, for an example, sea salt and take a cleansing bath. You can take herbs and herbalism like sage or white sage. Okay. Take, let's say, for example, sea salt. You know, like I said, you can sprinkle it around your home. You can cleanse your home. You can use, say, for an example, let's go with myrrh, frankincense, and dragon's blood creates a protective bubble, but you still have to cleanse the energy and the currents within your home. But you cannot forget to cleanse yourself as well, not just outside yourself, but internally. You know, a friend and brother, a man that I do respect, Brujo Luis. Okay, he's a modern day warlock. He's spoken on. He's into Bergeria type magic. His line of magic is hereditary. It's a family lineage that has been passed down from generation to generation. Okay, so he's got a lot of good videos right here on YouTube. Okay, not just he doesn't just put them here, but he also has been known to put them on Facebook as well. Outside for, like, say, for example, Instagram or Twitter or wherever I can't speak to. So when it comes to him, I only know him from those two locations. All right. Now, what's ironic though is when you're dealing with cleansing stuff, you really want to go with things that are going to bless the house, not just yourself. I mean, in Native American lore, especially their traditions, when you go to a powwow, it's always good to bring the elder who's guarding the fire. He's known as the fire keeper. Okay, it's his job to maintain the fire throughout any powwow. Okay, and one of the things that it's recommended to do is to give him a gift. Okay, it's always shown respect. Okay, one of the things that they use the most is tobacco. Okay, so tobacco, once you give them the tobacco, it's kind of like say, hey, I just want to thank you for doing this, but I need a cleansing. Okay, and what they use is white sage. Okay, they've got it lit, it's burning, and they'll tell you to put your arms up and out to the side or whatever, and they'll cleanse your aura. I do this literally about once a year. Okay, sometimes twice. Okay, and because of my family's Native American history, okay, they run a powwow about 45 minutes to an hour away. So I mean, it's really cool. It's always around September 1st through the 3rd. Okay, so I've been going off and on for the last decade, 7 years. I've maybe missed maybe 1 or 2 years, but I'm normally there. Okay, so they will cleanse you. Okay, they'll cleanse your aura, your spirit, and stuff like that. Now, what's ironic about this is that there's so much more. You can take a bowl, just a cereal bowl, or even one of those smaller bowls. I forget what they call them, but they're these little small bowls about roughly about like that. Okay, probably about an inch, maybe 2 inches in diameter. Okay, and you can fill that up with water, one up with water, another with salt. You can use the air, you can use fire, okay, outside of this, and you can go room to room and cleanse your home. Okay, now I recommend personally a sea salt bath because it's number one, it's when you feel like your aura's been like somebody's got a hand around your throat and they're squeezing the life out of you like a constrictor. It's always good to hit that reset button. Okay. And in this case, a nice relaxing hot bath with sea salt. You can use ground cinnamon, some form of bath oil. Okay. And these are just simple things that you can do to increase your vitality. Okay. It's not just, destruction rituals and death, 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 death within black magic. No. We got so many different techniques that we can employ from compassion rituals such as healing, vitality increases. Okay, you can use herbs and fruits and vegetables. Okay, to increase your say for an example your your sexuality. Okay, your whatever you want to call it. Okay, your vitality. Okay, you can use things like blood cleansers. Okay, like lemon juice, apple juice, which really breaks down bacteria due to the citric acid that's in it. Okay, you get an ingrown toenail, or and a lot of doctors will just treat you for an ingrown toenail without realizing that. Guess what? A lot of these symptoms that you're having is also related to gout. Don't believe me? Look it up. I recommend looking it up. Okay, I spent almost 25 years being treated for ingrown toenails. Okay, before I had an RN, she was a pagan. She pulled me aside and she told me about gout. Okay, so I started delving into that, and then when I realized, wow, these things really do have a lot of commonalities. Okay, but how do you treat it? Well, guess what? I delved into the natural things, herbs, plants, juices, stuff like that that you can get just about anywhere. Okay. Apple juice is the best thing that I found for gout. Okay. And it's great because of the citric acid tone base that's in it. Okay. And what this does is it breaks down the plaque that builds up around your joints. Okay. Those of you who suffer from shoulder pain, or say from an injury, something like say gallbladder or kidney stones. Okay, there's a lot that you can do. You don't have to go spending hundreds of thousands of dollars paying off a dumbass doctor for something as simple as drinking lemon juice. Okay, number one, lemon juice is a blood purifier. Number two, it prevents gallbladder and kidney stones. Okay, very interesting fact here. Okay. It's like drinking apple juice. when you're pregnant. It has that foundation that helps the fetus. Okay. How do I know that? My son's mom's in the next room. She's a CNA. Okay. She's an HBP. Okay. And she's got a couple other titles that she's going for right now, including going to college for her MA. Okay. So there's a lot that you can do just by using natural resources. You don't have to run to the doctors every 5 minutes. Okay. Now, what's ironic is outside of this, you could also use seals and sigilliums to call upon the angels, the demons. Okay. The fallen angels is what I would recommend. Okay. But I would recommend that if you're following the Cabal system, you don't want to use the seal of anguish. And this is why. When you work with angels and you have that up, they're going to be put into such torment. It would be like, say, for an example, Superman looking through a wall with X-ray vision. Okay. Think of it that way. All right. It caused him such discomfort in his eyes because of that lead that prevented him from seeing. Exactly. Eat right for your blood type. Exactly. Very helpful. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. It's not just herbs, it's not just plants, it's not just juices. I mean, you look at kiwi, okay? You look at oranges, apples, let's say, for example, celery. Okay. Did you know that celery is associated with your vitality, namely your manlyhood? Hell, even women can use that. Okay. Now, what's ironic is that if there's lemon balm, okay, you have wormwood, you have hellbane, okay, depending on the type of ritual that you're doing, if it's a destruction ritual, a lust ritual, or say for an example, a compassion ritual, you really want to look at your ritual. Okay. You really want to look at who you're summoning, who you want to go with. Okay. If you're working with the Demerge and you're working with, say, for an example, let's go with demons. Okay. Let's go with, say, let's go with, the demonic. Let's go with King Belial. Okay. King Asmodeus. Okay, let's say for an example, you're going and King Paimon. Okay, those three right there. Now let's break this down. Number one, you're at your job. You're looking to get a higher position. Okay, so you fill out the application like you would any job. Okay, any position. You want to go to King Paimon because of the fact that he's the swayer of men's minds. Okay, Belial or Belial, depending on the translation in the Eon, is the bestower of senatorship. He gives titles. He grants you titles. Okay? And Asmodeus, Asmodai, Asmodei, you know, same thing as Belial, is the demon of wrath and desire. Okay, so your desire would be to get that promotion. You want to get that manager position or perhaps a team lead position so you can move up in rank. So right here, these three is what I would recommend. So you'd want to draw their seals, you want to petition them, get your altar set up, get the right candles. I would recommend red and black. You can always have a white candle there if you're doing satanic rituals, because you want to have black and white, mostly black with one white. And outside of that, the red candle can be a setup, okay, but it can't fill in for the others, okay, just to let you know. So, excuse me. So you really want to look at what you're doing. So you'll get the seals. You meditate to it. Quiet your mind. I recommend meditation, breathing exercises like say yogi or Vedic type things where you're counting in between breaths. I recommend 5 to 6, 5 to 8 seconds in between, and then breathe This not only helps oxidate your blood and increases your oxygen intake, but it helps the body to naturally hold it more, to hold more. Okay. It helps balance you out. It helps reduce stress. Okay. And it helps you to focus your mind when in a state of balance. Okay. So when you start doing a mantra, okay, perhaps either, let's say, for example, oh, let's go with a demonic N. Okay. There's a lot of good ones on YouTube. Okay. I know this because I've actually used them. They're very powerful tools at your disposal to help you get into that frame of mind. Now, here, we're moving into a whole different system here. Okay. Not just herbs, not just plants, not just deities. But here we're getting you into that mind frame of doing it yourself. Okay. You're getting ready to put that energy out there. You're the will factor of the witch's oath. Okay. The sorcerer's oath. This aspect here allows you to align yourself with the current. You focus on that sigil, okay? You start doing a mantra, okay? Let's say, for example, you're working with, let's go with Hecate, or let's go with Beleth, Balaam, or, whatever. One of the 72 demonic entities from the Goetia, okay? Here, you get their end, you have their sigil, you're focusing on the sigil, and you got that end playing in the background. Right there, you've got a good setting. You're balanced, you're focused, you begin chanting that end, and before long, bam, you're in. Okay? Now, like I said, there's so much that I want to show you, and there's a lot that I want to talk about. So I'm breaking these down into segments. Okay? Today we discussed the Loa. We discussed what some of these Loa can do for you, from protecting you from war injuries and accidents, okay, to protecting you from death essence, death curses, hexes, to protecting you against sickness, even, okay. But you notice the powders that I've mentioned. I haven't really delved into those yet, okay. Now, I know you're kind of curious. Why did I talk about them? Well, I'm going to get into them in the next video. So I really want you to pay close attention in the next video, because these type of things are going to benefit you within your rituals. Okay. But I also want to recommend that you look into oleums. Okay. This is liquid based stuff that can be deployed along with, say, ricin, or the way you can burn your incense. Okay. Now, if you notice just over my right shoulder here, I have an incense burner. Okay. This is an oleum. It is one of those little tablets you can get from out of the dollar bin or the $2 bin at Walmart from the candle aisle. Okay, tea leaf candle. Okay, right there, you got the candle going. You got the incense going. Okay, you're making that sensory connection. Okay, in this case, smell. Now just open yourself up, relax, listen to the ends, the mantras, the meditational chanting, and see where it takes you. See what it does for you in your own life when you apply it in the applications. Okay. One of the good books for oleums is Bringing Down Belial by S. Connolly. Okay. Another good one would be Voodoo Hexes. Okay, or Voodoo Curses. I forget who the author is of it though, but it's a red book with a sigil on it. Okay, with a rune type thing on it. The Mazajira Cabal system also has some pretty good oleums and some very, very good herbs that you can put together for your ritual, depending on what you're doing. Okay. And again, you notice I use the term what you are doing. Okay. Not me, but you. And the reason I'm using that terminology is because I want to show you what you can do and how to do it for yourself to better your rituals. Okay. This is stuff that you'll learn over time, but how many teachers are there out there that are willing to teach you what they know? Not very many. A lot of them just want popularity or, numbers. They don't really want to delve into the actual teaching. So, very few in my opinion. All right. So with that said, I hope this has been educational. I hope it's been enlightening. And until next time, Agios Satanas.